Hi, everyone, and welcome to an episode of Trident Talks. I'm Josh, the CEO of Trident, and today, very happy to say I'm joined by Zach, who is one of the co-founders of Senteon. Zach, thank you for joining.
Absolutely, man. Happy to be here and join your series.
Zach, tell us, where are you coming from at the moment? Because I can see you've got a big check in the background. I see a cat just started walking past as we started.
This is going to be a very interactive interview. So I do have two cats, one who weighs about 21 pounds, who sometimes hops in, and the other one that you saw walk by is, I think, about 12 pounds now. So definitely have some mini lions. But
as soon as they saw the camera go live, they were like, I'm going straight on stage.
Exactly. It's funny, man. If they start meowing, I just pick them up and they become part of the whole video. But yeah, right now I did move into my RV a few months ago. So me and my wife and our two cats, and we're parked in California, in San Jose right now. And ultimately what we do is we, are living on the road, visiting a lot of our partners in person, driving trade show to trade show is really the, I guess, business value of us getting to live in here. Kind of gives us a chance to see more people than we would usually get to with this virtual world we live in.
Yeah, love it. And tell us more about the check from behind. Then we'll get into the show.
The check serves two purposes. One, it was really cool. We got to participate and win a program called PitchIt, and that was hosted through ConnectWise last year. But the dual purpose is my wife also works from home, so it does use as a filter if she ever heads into the background.
Just see a floating head above the check.
Exactly. Or if it's a little messy in my background, the check is just that blocker deterrent.
Yeah,
but
I like
of course, it does have
You're
business meaning behind it.
You're going to slowly accumulate more checks the more messier your RV gets.
Right? We are. I guess this could be the announcement because I don't think we've posted about it yet. But we are joining the CrowdStrike AWS Accelerator out of New York. So we will be hitting that.
Congrats.
Yeah, well, we're joining that later this month, I think, is the kickoff.
Awesome.
Heard it here first on the Trident podcast.
It's an exclusive. It's exclusive. So Zach, tell us about you. Tell us about your background, like life before Senteon. Tell us more about that.
Yeah, so I have a entrepreneurship background. I got my start actually in business to consumer sales for the most part. Did a lot of home restoration projects. The fun story I like to share with that one, my largest sale was to my mayor at that point, Pete Buttigieg, who, as U.S. politics may know, moved up into Department of Transportation and the government and so forth. So pretty cool getting to work on his house. But after I did that for a while and ran my home restoration business, I thought it'd be fun to go to really corporate sales and just, live that corporate mindset. You have one job, one task every day and nothing else. And that wasn't horrible, but it definitely was not great for someone who started really his professional life as an entrepreneur. So it made me want to get back to that lifestyle. I had met my now co-founders in the cybersecurity field at school. I was getting it as my minor. They were getting it theirs major. And at some point, we just stayed in touch. They had built a platform, and they're like, hey, we don't necessarily want to be the ones to take this to market and build the whole brand and the whole image behind it. They just want it to really develop the product. So I came in to be that co-founder who really focused on, doing these interviews and creating marketing plans and landing our first customers and everything that really goes in line with that side of the house.
Love it. Awesome. And so when did you guys launch as a business?
Well, we are very much the definition of a COVID company. So we are all remote. I started when we were living in Louisiana, New Orleans, which was absolutely amazing. And then we had a co-founder in New Jersey, which is Henry, with a few other of the co-founders there in New Jersey, and had a early hire in Chicago, Atlanta, and realistically, the company goes wherever I park at this point.
And what year did you guys kind of bang heads and get together?
Yep. Banged heads quite a bit initially with a lot of pivots, but we did start the company, I believe, about 4 years ago. But it wasn't until maybe a year and a half ago we really landed on what we're doing today and what has been successful.
Awesome. Right. Let's dig it. Let's kind of dive into that. Right. Tell us about Senteon. So, like the high level, what's the business, and then let's deep dive into some areas.
Oh, absolutely. So we harden workstations, servers, and browsers to best practice security standards. So it is To dive deeper, it's not the most exciting aspect of security, but we are the company who makes changing settings on computers very simple and scalable.
Okay, nice. And it's also a huge part of why breaches happen, like misconfigurations.
It is.
Not just because it's not aligned to a policy, but genuinely because it's outdated or it's misconfigured.
Yeah, I mean, this is a huge issue, I guess, or ongoing conversation in the security world, right? You have policies, written documentation, and procedures and everything. But the piece that really gets overlooked is actually inputting the guardrails, if you will, actually performing the remediation of the technical setting that can enforce the policy from happening. So to give some examples to this, I interviewed quite a few people just, being part of the industry, and the trend I've been seeing in some of my conversations is actually talking about employee training and awareness, phishing campaigns, phishing training and everything, right? Obviously important. But what the argument they've been presenting to me, and I lean on their side, is training's great. It's obviously important. But if you don't have those technical policies in place, those guardrails in place, those settings in place to mitigate the damages a fish can cause or mitigate the chances of that fish coming in, why are you making the battle harder by training your employees instead of just putting the guardrails in place and then doing some employee training? So we're very much the company making changes, performing remediations. If a setting were to change, we change it back, generate alerts. We're taking, I guess, one of the early companies to really prioritize the preventative settings to stop an attacker before they can actually deliver their executable or whatever they're trying to do.
Nice, awesome. So then that begs the question, right? How? Like, how does it work? Like, I know you said you deploy an agent in the customer environment. Like, tell us through that. How does it work?
Yeah, so the process of getting Senteon set up is we leverage the CIS guidelines. So these are thousands of settings across your workstation, your server, browser, 365 suite, right? Thousands of settings. And in a perfect world, you just flip all these settings on and you're good. Unfortunately, you may be good from a security perspective, but if you flip all those on without proper testing, you'll have some user disruption. They won't be able to perform their job requirements anymore. So what Senteon really developed is a learning mode that outlines which of those thousands of policies you're able to change without causing the end user of the machine to notice or to complain, right? So we perform that learning mode, and then we have a single button that says, hey, click here to change all the ones that won't cause disruption, and click here to put all of the ones that will cause pain or will cause disruption into an exception group that you then document and you can present to the auditor and have your annotations with the reviewer and the approver and so forth. But our goal ultimately is to get as close to the best practice standards in place without disruption at scale in only a few minutes.
In a few minutes?
Yep.
So that few minutes is from deploying an agent in the environment to identifying the setup to then saying, here's the remediation if you want to do X, Y, Z or against what policy, and then to split it into no disruption and disruption.
Yep. That whole process, say, we'll just take a round number, 1,000 machines. In a perfect world, especially with our support joining for that first onboarding and whatnot, just doing the training, we expect something like that to take at most 30 minutes.
Wow. Okay, awesome. And then I guess then it's up to the customer to then work out which ones they want to change or don't. And then also the disruptive ones, they then will schedule a time, etc., when it's less disruptive.
Yeah. Senteon basically presents you the choices to say, hey, these ones are highly critical from a return on security investment. Like, we highly encourage you to do this, but because of this finding, it might cause disruption on these devices. It's safe on these ones, but these ones, maybe you should do a little bit more research before just mass deploying the change.
Okay, awesome. And who are you doing this with? So I think we've discussed before, we've had conversations, like you're going through the managed service providers initially, right? And then because they have such a large customer environment, you're selling through the channel.
Yeah, managed service providers have it especially hard because enterprises, which absolutely still struggle with this, they have one environment at an enterprise, right? Once you create that golden image, it's a little bit easier to manage because it's one enterprise. An MSP or an MSSP, they have hundreds of tenants, hundreds of clients, and all of them might need a different golden image. So Senteon telling them, hey, this image is safe for this person, allows them to eliminate months of break fix testing to determine which golden image is best of breed or tailored best recommendations for that client. We eliminate that.
And do the MSPs then have to notify the client that, hey, we're about to like load Senteon into your environment to test, like, or yeah?
So it's really dependent on the MSP. So MSPs I've noticed have two real different selling models. One, they'll take on a vendor like Senteon and they'll say, my entire client base is getting this. Like, it doesn't matter. They might send, we do provide like blogs and just like heads up, these things might change type of warnings, or we offer for them to send that to their client base. But a lot of times they'll just do it because the return, the ROI for the MSP is not just having better security in place and more effective preventative controls in place. They're getting to standardize all of their clients to a more uniform standard, making it easier for them to have operational efficiencies on their back end and more effectively manage their clients, which they both sides want that. So there's not a lot of challenges in that respect.
Yeah, nice. Okay, awesome. So let's talk forward then. So we spoke about what the business is, what your background and the founders. What does 2025 look like? What's the plan? Obviously, go after more MSPs, and you're gonna be at all the conferences, I assume.
We are hitting the road, that's for sure. But the plan for 2025 really is to continue expanding in the managed service provider space, really building out the value props on that side. On the technology side, we're actually beginning to incorporate, I mentioned browser hardening is one of our newer features, building out a largely available API resource page and expanding that further. But the really exciting stuff is we are building the single interface, call it, for hardening. So along with the workstation server and browser, we'll be adding Microsoft Suite hardening, 365 hardening, and after we get all of that, we're really going to start leaning into application hardening. So realistically for 2025, what we're doing is, everyone kind of jokes about it, but the Gartner quadrants, right? We're building a new quadrant in hardening management, right? It's different from vulnerability management. It's different from patch management. We really are the first solely focused hardening management company. And this is what we're striving to make top of mind in 2025 for everybody.
Awesome. I know there's a bit of an old school industry joke about like you never want to be the first people to like go and pave that way. Like, so you guys are flying the flag, and like, don't get me wrong, you have a large co-founding team, right? So you guys are going at it.
Yeah, we've been doing it for years, and it is an uphill battle because it is new. A lot of industry professionals will, typically be trying to do this over, I call them legacy mediums, but technically they're not, but I guess more inconsistent mediums. You'll try to do this over group policy, over PowerShell, over Intune. But when Senteon steps in, we actually are changing the local policy to understand what is the real functional value, the backing value, that reg key, that sec pool, that audit pool key, to know if that setting's actually in place or if a third party or a display value is just saying it's in place, right? So that false positive. And the more we expand and the more we just mature our platform, the more we're noticing that scanning tools and Intune will claim things are compliant and are secure on the display value, the value we read. But on the machine level, it's lying. It's actually not behaving like a secure setting because it never translated from display value to the machine level.
Yeah, there's a disconnect, right, between display up here in the interface and the actual back to machine level. And I forgot to ask kind of earlier, you operate across all kind of OSs, right?
Yep. So we are very much building out complete Windows hardening first, but we do have plans in place to move into Mac next. And then we are touching toes kind of with that Linux, but that does have a pretty mature offering through Chef, Puppet, Automate, and whatnot. So Linux is more of a back burner.
Yeah, awesome. Okay, cool. So if I'm watching this, I'm listening in from whatever medium. I'm an MSP. How do I get in touch? Where do I see you? How do I engage? We'll put some links in the bio.
I appreciate that. So the website is always the easiest, right? You can create a free account. We even have a freemium that people are welcome to sign up for. But the website is senteon.co. You can do senteon.com now as well, but senteon.co is where we started. And you can create a free account there. You can also connect with me on LinkedIn. I'm pretty active there, and you can always message there. But realistically, those are the two best ways, I would say, to reach out to us.
Nice. Talking to LinkedIn, tell me about your profile picture.
So that was something I did for a friend, another early stage company. They wanted to get all the friends of theirs to help bridge their announcement, their product's launch to. They have obviously a nautical theme. For those who actually check out my LinkedIn, you'll see it's in a captain uniform and whatnot. And they asked for all of their friends to do that as a way to help promote them and get it out there. I had so many people just kind of look at it and laugh and just like you bring it up during the call.
I laugh, right? Because Rick, Rick at Gula told me you was in the Polish Navy.
But that's what I love. I was like, it's an icebreaker. Like, and
true.
If you do end up talking to me one-on-one, like our relationship you have, and hopefully that comes out through the interview, like very much a personable type of style at Senteon. Like if you come into a sales meeting with us, it's not going to be the traditional shoving features down your throat. We're probably going to shoot the shit for multiple minutes and hopefully get around to the solution at some point. But that's kind of really
but like,
into who I am.
It's a great balance, right? Because it's like, I'm a human. I like to have a good time. But then also we work hard and we're bloody good. Like the product delivers. It has to be backed up, right? So that's that good balance.
That is the biggest thing, especially because entrepreneur, right? To be an entrepreneur, you have to have some type of ego, and you got to have just blind trust sometimes into what you built, that it's going to perform, do what it says, right? So sometimes when I do get in those very, not so much heated, but very much like, no way is Intune telling me a lie. Like that's not possible, right? I really need to have that personal relationship. Be like, man, like I don't know what to tell you. Like you need to go check out the machine key level. Like then we can really dive into it, and it just kind of assists, because even the call last week where I did this, it took about 90 minutes for this individual to really see the facts I was presenting to them and understand that Intune wasn't showing the correct results, right? And we had enough of a relationship to where we could kind of joke around about it, but it really caused him to question. Last 15 years he's been doing this. He's like, have I been just not applying these settings sometimes? And that's hard as the new guy in the space to say that gorilla in the room is maybe showing incorrect data. Like I need to be able to stand on my own. And I told him, I think I made the comment, hey, give you the whole products for free for a whole year if you end up telling me that I'm wrong and Senteon's right. And in that case, I had no idea what the result was going to be, but I was, of course, right in that scenario. But you just got to have that confidence in it as an entrepreneur, which I'm sure you're very familiar with yourself.
Yeah. Either that or your co-founders are going to have a go at you for stop selling our shit for free. stop giving it away. But
fortunately,
right.
We're well past that stage, but every entrepreneur is there.
I love it. Zach, appreciate you joining. I know you're super busy building the beast of Senteon, so good luck for this year. I know I'll see you soon at some conferences, and like I said, I'll put some links in the bio so people can get in touch.
Absolutely. Well, thanks for having me on, brother. I'll see you in person soon.